driving home. Got a little bit of they got this little dash thing that you can replace the top of the center console with, like a little mount. A little bit shaky for this phone I'm seeing, although it's kind of got the my phone looks like a wallet opening thing. Just your phone's in it, a little shaky. But since most people listen and not look anyways, it's all good. So I was driving home from work. You know, I work Monday through Wednesday now, part-time, and at some point, could be as early as the middle of this year, actually, come to think of it, but whatever. I might be fully gone doing, you know, my Patreon, more YouTube, whatever. Regardless of the monetization crap that YouTube's pulling on everybody, you know, whatever. But, you know, so I haven't talked too much about cryptos lately. Again, just waiting for certain things to happen, that sort of thing. And one of those things, which now that I'm stopped, let me see if I can scoot this old girl back a little more. Whatever. Anyways, I haven't talked too much about cryptos in the meantime. Again, this market's fairly flat, not doing anything really exciting. The old ICO days, those are just about non-existent, you know. Although I was having an interesting discussion on Ben Matrix Portfolio's Telegram. I guess it was Sunday night. Some people were asking me about this crypto called e-dinar, like the Iraqi dinar, but it's called e-dinar. Started looking into it. I had a few people asking, like, where's this coming from? They're like, oh, we're talking about over on his Telegram. I said, all right, well, let me go over there. So I went over there, caused a little shitstorm on I was kind of like a bull in a china shop at first, you know. I should have been a little more toned down, but I was like, what? It's a Ponzi? What are you guys doing? Like, this has all the hallmarks of a Ponzi, you know, whatever. So I've had a few people ask me about it. It's not an ICO. This thing's been going on for a while. It's been out for a while, from what I understand. You know how back in the day these other Ponzi's would be like, you know, leave your money with us for 6 months or a year. This one's, I think, a 2-year. So naturally, it should last longer than other Ponzi's when you take that into consideration, the length of time before you can pull everything back out. So just want to make you aware, potentially, and I say that almost like I feel 100% certain. It's got all the hallmarks of a Ponzi. There's no team members, no one knows who owns the thing. You know, it's got an address in another country. It's you know, it earns interest. It doesn't like, oh no, this is. You gotta buy these particular coins that they have and hold them, and they earn interest for you. And I'm like, oh my god. So, anyways, I told a few people who were interested, like, that's my opinion, but I got an experience or two. We're dealing with those things because I exposed so many of them 2017, really into 2018. Freaking crap. So, anyways, on to other things. You know, Arcane Bear, he's expecting a pretty big dump coming. Crypto Kirby, someone sent me a link to him today, a video he just did today, Monday, about a Google trend, just simply using Google Trends as an indicator. Type in the word Bitcoin and have it set, if you need to adjust it to, which I think it might be by default, monthly results. As a matter of fact, that might only be monthly results. And it will give you a number, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 100, whatever it is, and I think it updates every day, if I recall. And it basically tells you the trend, the trending of the words you're typing in there. So if you type in Litecoin or Bitcoin or Ethereum or cryptocurrency or whatever, and typically most people, like he's explaining in this video, most people type in, you know, Bitcoin. That's it. They just type Bitcoin. So he just showed you, look, if you use Bitcoin for the word here, and he goes back years, many years, showing you just using Google Trends as an indicator worked pretty damn well with giving you foresight as to if the market should be going up or down in the near future. And he showed time and time again where the numbers started climbing of you know, the Google trends number for the word Bitcoin, and then also, sure enough, we'd have a rally, and it may go months, and each month the numbers are getting higher and higher, so the rally's continuing. Then all of a sudden he shows it peaked, and then it started coming down. He goes, it dropped significantly. And if you weren't sure, well, maybe it's just going to stop and go up again. He says if you followed it, it dropped even more. So there's a second time you have to say, you know what, it's dropped twice in a row, let me get the hell out of here. He goes, even at that level, if you would have got out, you'd have been great, because look where it went down to, you know. And then the opposite's true. If the reversal starts happening, the numbers start going up again. Again, you want to see 2 or 3 confirmations. Okay, there's a reversal here, let me get in. You still could have made some good money. And he was showing this throughout the history of basically crypto, Bitcoin, over the last few years. So somebody sent me this video today, and I kind of laughed a little bit out loud at my desk, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually one of many indicators, or data feeds I should say, that ultimately make up that what I like to jokingly call the all-seeing indicator that I now have access to as of February. That is one of the data feeds, I know this for a fact, that thing uses. And it typically updates 2 to 3 times a day. I get to go in and look at it, whatever. And I'll tell you, it's still showing market is overbought. It's definitely overbought, which typically means a sell-off should be coming. So Crypto Kirby shows, look, just the Google authenticator, I mean not authenticator, Google Trends, which, by the way, nobody's using the indicator that I have. I don't want you to make you think there's multiple of us out there using the same thing. And all I'm saying is the indicator that I have access to, that's one data feed out of a whole crop ton, honestly. But he was solely using this one indicator to say, you know what, even if you just did this, it still gave you a good insight on where the market was moving. So he goes, as long as it continues to do that, which is true, because again, past performance is not indicative of future performance, what may happen in the future. And I say the same thing too about my indicator. And I mean, it's a fact in anything. The future doesn't just exactly tell the past doesn't tell the future exactly how it's going to be laid out. You can get a good idea, and that goes for anything, crypto markets or anything in the world, honestly. But it doesn't mean it's going to be exactly the same. But again, this thing's been right a bunch of times. This indicator that I looked at, I went back just kind of like he did today in his Google Trends. When I first got access, I spent 2 hours just going back, looking at it, checking it out, doing math. Okay, this thing gave a signal here. What did it do there? You know, I was doing all that stuff, and like, wow, everything lined up. It hasn't made a mistake yet. So I was like, whoa. And then sure enough, oh my God, it's telling me right now, tonight, in the last 2 days or so, extreme overbought territory. Well, every time I did that in the past, big dump was coming. And sometimes it would just go right into the big dump, and then it would be an oversold territory to go back up. Other times, it would go about halfway point, and then hover there for days, even weeks, and then continue down, finish the sell-off, so to speak, and then it would turn around. So right now, I'm seeing that playing out with this indicator. We had a nice dump of about 20%, you know, what, 2.5, 3 weeks ago now? I'm waiting for basically the follow-through from what I'm looking at. Again, looking at the past, what it should do. And what I, would say I hope happens, because many of us are gambling on this right now. But it's also saying a pretty hefty dump should be still coming. Like, this isn't over yet. So you got Crypto Kirby with the Google Trends thing saying, look, the trends right now are still not looking good. And every time in the past that he just went over, he shows you, the market continued bleeding down. You got Arcane Bear looking at stuff. You know, guys, I think we could see $15 Litecoin that says Arcane Bear. That's strangely familiar in the middle of the $13 to $17 Litecoin my guy, originally had told me about. And, we're technically still waiting it, because if we do see this final dump, and it may come, maybe more than one piece. It doesn't have to be all at once, but again, these indicator things should help us figure it out. If ultimately we don't get back down to that level, then that was a bad call from my guy, and then through me for giving it. But he's given quite a few good things. He's told us a lot on Bitcoin Cash. He seems to be knowing for sure about Bitcoin Cash and some other ones. Again, his Litecoin call on the way down, it was 50, 60 bucks. He's telling me it's going to 38, Joe. 38, and I'm like, okay, everybody and their mother and even people I know and don't know, you can go online and look. They're not. No one's even thinking it's gonna go to 50, even below 50. Like there's not even a chance it'll go to 50, dude. I'm telling you, $38. My guy told me. He's been calling it very well. So I'm like, all right, I hear you. So I waited. Market kept going down. Got into the 40s. As soon as it got into 40s, I mean not like 49, but I think it was whatever in the 40s. Okay, guys. Hey, J Snip here. Remember my guy? I may briefly one time mention $38. I gotta remind you right now, $38. $38 he says is coming. And then it came. By the way, guys, $23 is the next stop. My guy says so. I'm just gonna say that. $22 and change. By the way, guys, 13 to 17 is coming. Hasn't happened yet. But it is still actually a possibility. But to be fair, you can make a case for why we've bottomed. You can. Why we've bottomed. 3,100 was it. That's it. And now we could do some little ups and downs, whatever, and then ultimately go higher. And then just stair step again like we used to do. Or that ultimately will be coming again at, not even like we used to do, but what is going to happen regardless. You could make that argument. But if you take all that out and just say, me personally, what does the indicator say? And it's a very powerful indicator. It says, put your emotions in check and just wait. The indicator cannot tell me tonight it's going to dump, tomorrow morning it's going to dump, and a week from now it's going to dump, because I've seen it all over the map in the past. Sometimes it was days, sometimes when it kicked in, it just went in a matter of days, the whole thing was over, and holy crap, we had a massive, correction. I mean, if you look at last year, I mean months ago, from November to December, I looked at it, I didn't have it then, but I looked at that, because that's some recent data. Wow, we were at $6,000 Bitcoin, it dropped down to 3,100 in a month. From November to December, boom. Oh, there's the indicators screaming. Way overbought, way overbought, way overbought. Had I known this and had this, right, I could have said then, hey guys, I think the market's going to puke badly because this indicator, unfortunately I didn't have it. Gosh, do I wish I did. I'd have been able to make some pretty epic calls over this past year or so. I've got data to 2 years back, but that's it. It goes back 2 years. That's all the data it has. But it's enough to let me see this thing, work its magic. And I keep telling people Patreon, I'm like, guys, I know we heard some things recently that maybe we're going to go up a little higher, and maybe it's even go higher than that. And I was like, but look, I know some of the psychic stuff and the remote viewers, and I'm like, guys, I know. But if I tune all that out, because let's face it, the timing of all of those sources wasn't right. I could say that. It wasn't right. I believe everything they said. In the future, what these cryptos are going to do, 100% I'm on board. Michelle White Dove and her theta may be the most epic call ever. We won't know until the future, but it's kind of looking like it if you're following what theta's doing and the partnerships they're making. The timing is an issue. So let's write that off from like now until eternity. Anytime we ever hear anything like this financially, timing could be off. It just seems that way, right? That's how it's been. So you just turn that off for a second and say, okay, well, I have all these sources, but I also have an indicator. You could even say, well, the Google Trends, let's just look at that only, versus these other things. It too would have been spot on. It too would have been able to tell us in advance, I think the market's going to move in a different direction than it currently is. So with that being said, that's why I told everyone on Patreon today, I'm like, guys, this is why I'm so reluctant. I have, Joe, you going to get back in? I mean, Bitcoin Cash has already run up a nice amount already. You think it's going to come back down? And I'm like, well, you know what? We made a good play on that from 127 up to some people got out at 150, some people got out 140 something, some people got out the high 130s, 138, 139. I was one that got most of my bag at 138, my second bag at 144. I didn't catch it. It ran up to 155 at that point, roughly. I think actually 157 was the high. Anyways, it was a good play, but we want more of those plays, because if this Litecoin move doesn't ultimately happen, we'll be relying on some other ways of trading to make it back up. And we're well on our way right now, but we're not fully whole with that move. But just imagine what Arcane Bear, what Crypto Kirby, what some of these other people who are seeing some of the same stuff I'm trying to talk about here, their data, their indicators, these signs, saying, guys, we may not be out of the woods yet. We might be, but we might not be, and they're making a case, like I'm making a case, and it's not just fantasy. Like, this isn't even like, well, psychic or woo. This is like indicators, data-fed stuff. And that's what I'm telling everyone on my Patreon, that this is why I'm so reluctant to get back in. But what I said was, don't forget that 127 move all the way up came back down to 120 something. So yeah, Bitcoin Cash rallied that high and then came back down. And then it just did it again to 160, 162, 158 or so today, Monday. So if this dump happens again, it should come down. I mean, I wouldn't think Bitcoin Cash is going to skyrocket while everything's dumping. The whole market follows, right? And it's ebbs and flows. So just want to have a little chat about that on the way home, to give you an idea that I'm not the only one expecting some crazy, stupid numbers for this sell-off. And again, it doesn't have to be all done in one swoop down. Like right now, like, oh, it happened 2 days from now, Joe. Holy crap, it happened. Doesn't. It can go down. We can get back in the 30s for Litecoin, 35, 36. One of my TA guys I follow, David, the proud clown on TradingView. He's seeing maybe 35, 36, 37, somewhere around there on the next down move for Litecoin. And then maybe a little rally and then more down. That's pretty much for the market, but he was talking about the price number he gave for Litecoin. But he's got a similar view for Ethereum, similar view for Bitcoin. He's making the case, again, if you can study the data and the signs and these things and turn your emotional, nonsense off in your brain, that helps you become patient and it helps you wait. People always talk about, I can't day trade, I want swing trades. All right, well, talk about the ultimate swing trade. If this indicator continues to pan out and be great, it's the ultimate swing. It's a swing trader's like dream, because typically it tells you days in advance, if not further. Usually it's days, and hey, probably a market swing's coming. And again, depending on what it's showing, either up or down, it's coming. Get in the trade, sit back, wait, put your stops in, whatever you need to do, or put your sell or buy orders in. Let them see if they fill. Wait it out. Days go by, weeks go by. Some of the time period on this thing was not just days or even a week or two. I've seen periods where it was about a month and a half or so, even I think up to 2 months. Might have been the longest one I saw. Once an indicator, once it triggered basically that something pretty sizable in the market was going to happen. Now granted, that last indicator we got in February, that trigger went off and we had a 20% dump. So in theory, that's already happened. The problem I'm having right now is based on what it did next, it ain't enough. And now it's kind of gone sideways at that level. So it's like, okay, so what did it do in the past? And I found every single time in the past. I don't know what y'all are waiting on. Get the stop sign, both cars are sitting there staring at each other. I make a complete stop, look at them both. No one's doing anything. I'll go ahead and turn. But anyways, I looked at every single time in the past, and this damn thing, if you were just patient and waited, boop, there it is. It told the story. So I've turned myself on the emotion stuff. I mean, I've got it under control. Even though I'm knowing this, I still, oh man, Bitcoin Cash, holy crap, it's 150. Oh my gosh, 155, 158, 160. FOMO, nope. Indicator says be patient. Plan your trade your plan, right? And I planned this trade because of what the indicator said. It didn't say get back in and see if it'll pump one more time in between. Hey, it's the crypto market. It might do that, it might not do that. You could take a chance. Some people probably did. Some people may have grabbed it and got out. It's fine. But I said I want to be honestly like straight up with what the indicator says. If it says to get out and sit out, I'm going to go ahead and get out and sit out. And that's what it said. So I got out. We took our profit, got out, and currently I'm waiting. And now all of a sudden I see Crypto Kirby, I see Arcane Bear. It's making me feel a little better that more recently these guys are now on board with something similar, which is great. you know, it's confirmation from other people that, hey, you know what, maybe there's something to this. And, you know, it's not just me and my one little indicator thing. So we're going to see what happens, right? I mean, we're getting close to, I think, something or another. I've been waiting about 2 weeks or so now, maybe a little longer since this indicator went off. Yeah, it's probably been a little longer, 2 weeks, since it initially went off. But now that it's gone sideways, it's been in that pattern here for, you know, whatever the difference is, 2.5, 3 weeks, whatever. So, that, you know, we'll see what happens. It's going to be funny, and I'm going to feel, if we see a massive dump and Litecoin actually goes crazy down, it's going to be a little bit funny on my side to be like, wow, imagine that. It actually happened. 13 to 17, hey guys. But it's a little sad at the other side, because how many people feel that they just got wrecked by watching $60 Litecoin get crushed, you know? Or honestly, anything. Maybe it's some other coin they were in. Because if this happens, the whole market's going to be affected. So it'd be kind of like bittersweet, but you know, but at the end of the day, cryptos are going to go back up again and make all-time highs. So it's like, so what? Big deal. You had Litecoin at 60, you held on to it, it dumped back down to the 20s or the teens or whatever, and you know, you didn't get out, whatever. All I want to do is trade this bag that I've specifically set up to trade, so that at the end of the year or whatever, or basically when the next bull run starts and really gets going, I've accumulated more crypto than I had to begin with. And it doesn't matter which one or the ultimate amount of dollar value of the whole bag, of the trading bag, is a lot more than what I started with, right? That's obviously what the goal is. And if I by chance lose it all, and well, that's what I had a bag for. I didn't waste my whole crypto account, you know, my whole entire holdings. But again, we've already made some good moves with Bitcoin Cash. I think there's going to be more. I'm being extremely patient. I'll wait days, I'll wait weeks, I'll wait a month, I'll wait 2 months. If that indicator says sit the F down, chill out, as Trader Boss used to say, I'm going to go date my wife. Go date my wife. Go date your wife. Date your whoever. Take your kids out. Go swimming. Go to the park. Whatever. These are nice swing trades. Again, if we could just do a few of these a year, just a few, maybe several. A few might mean 3 to you. 3, 4, 5, 6 of these a year. 20% here, 30% there, 15% there. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, holy crap! At the end of the year, we 100% our bag, and now the bull market's kicked in. Oh my God, I've got twice as much money as I had to start with if I'd have just hodled the whole entire time, right? But the safe thing of hodling is you don't get wrecked. You can never get wrecked by a bad trade. So there's something to say about hodling, you know, or buying the dips and hodling. But again, it does cost you to go back in your bank account to do that. So that's why I wanted my trade bag. I want to try to turn that bag into a bigger bag. And then when the rally kicks in and we get into a nice bull market, I don't know if I said bear earlier, I meant bull. We get into a bull market, now you're really happy because you've earned more crypto and the value's now gone up. You know what I mean? Like, that's the name of the game. But don't bet your entire bag no matter what. Do not play with your entire bag. Okay? Take care.